All right, so we had some new information come out around Sony's games that are coming up, specifically like God of War, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, and something that was brought up here during a Q&A with the PlayStation blog and Herman Holst was the idea of the PlayStation 4 and how it would kind of fit into the current plans as Sony is looking to transition from what was a very successful console with the PlayStation 4 over to their newest system with the PS5. And what was said in this Q&A took a lot of people by surprise online, because it does look like Sony has plans for several other games that have already been announced to be cross-gen and also be on the PlayStation 4, one of which was actually advertised pretty clearly as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and we're going to go over that one here today. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So we're going to head over here. This is on PlayStation blog, and first, let's go over when Sony had originally talked about the first real cross-generation titles. That was when they first unveiled the PlayStation 5. If you remember, they said, okay, well, Spider-Man Miles Morales, that will also be available on the PlayStation 4, as well as Sackboy. And everyone saw that and said, well, that's strange. Why didn't you tell us this a while ago? Like, remember, Microsoft came out up front and said, hey, we're going to be doing cross-gen games probably for the next year and a half to 2 years, certainly throughout 2022. And they got a ton of backlash online for that, and Sony was pretty quiet. I mean, them saying nothing was probably the best strategy, because it was pretty clear they would be doing basically the same thing, it seems like, here. So just keep that in mind as we go over this. This was over on PlayStation blog, where they say, how does PS4 factor into PlayStation Studios' development vision? Is it still a focus internally for future game development? Now, this is Herman Holst's answer, saying it very much is. You can't build a community of over 110 million PS4 owners and then just walk away from it, right? I think that'd be bad news for fans of PS4 and frankly not very good business. I agree with him. I think they should have cross-gen games as well as PlayStation 5 exclusives, so they can kind of just work through this in-between time period, since a lot of people are having a hard time getting the PlayStation 5. So naturally, to come up with games that will be on that PlayStation 4 as well as the PlayStation 5 makes a ton of sense, so you can essentially profit from both install bases, as you've already had one established with the PS4 and you're working to build one with the PS5. However, in the past, Sony has been pretty aggressive when it comes to developing big games just to get people to that new hardware. That's with like the PS2 to the PS3 and PS3 even to the PS4. But Herman goes on to say, where it makes sense to develop a title for both PS4 and PS5 for Horizon Forbidden West. That sounds about right. We heard that, like I said, when they had talked about Spider-Man Miles Morales and Sackboy, they said, hey, Horizon Forbidden West, that's also going to be a cross-generation game. Then he goes on to say God of War and Gran Turismo 7. We'll continue looking at that. And if PS4 owners want to play that game, then they can. If they want to go on and play the PS5 version, that game will be there for them. That being said, it's also very important to have showpieces for PS5, hence the development of Returnal and Ratchet that are exclusive to the PlayStation 5. And I mean, I think right now, most of us can say, okay, Ratchet appears to be the big showpiece for the PlayStation 5 right now. And I know people were saying, oh yeah, Horizon Forbidden West as well, but clearly that's going to be on the PS4 as well, so people are already kind of unsure if it's being held back in some way, whereas you really can't say that with Ratchet. It's only on the PS5. It clearly appears to be taking advantage of the SSD inside of that PS5 with some of the game's core mechanics, so that appears to be the next big PlayStation 5 title that's going to show it off. And you know what? It might be that way for a little while now, considering apparently God of War and Gran Turismo 7, God of War and Gran Turismo 7 coming out next year are also going to be on the PlayStation 4. This caught a lot of people off guard online. There have been talks about God of War also be on the PS4, and you know what? Looking at God of War when it went into development, most likely, like in 2018 or early 2019, it wouldn't shock me to hear that they had originally started as a PS4 game. In fact, I kind of expect that. So that was one reason I was looking at that and saying, all right, well, the budget on this game is going to be massive. So they probably want to be able to sell it to as many people as they possibly can. And while it would be coming out in 2022, it wouldn't shock me to know that, okay, this would be a PlayStation 4 cross-gen title with the PS5. Still, though, there was hope that, okay, this is going to be something that just showcases what the PS5 can do on its own and not have to keep the last generation system from 2013 even still in mind. But Sony was pretty smart about how they advertised things like God of War, where they never specifically said this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive game. They could say it's a PlayStation exclusive because, yeah, that's correct. It's probably going to show up and stay on the PlayStation ecosystem for a while. Sure, it could go to the PC sometime way off into the future, but like for now, it's just going to be on PlayStation hardware. However, Gran Turismo 7 is it's a bit different. The situation around this game is one that's being brought up heavily online today after this announcement because well, Sony kind of advertised it as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, so much so that you can see websites like this had actually created entire articles around this saying Gran Turismo 7 is a PS5 exclusive not coming to PlayStation 4. Updated release and exclusivity windows for PS5 games. This was from PlayStationLifestyle.net. And why are they saying that? Well, if we scroll down here, we have this video here released from Sony on their YouTube channel at PlayStation, new and upcoming games. Here's Gran Turismo 7. And you may notice something. At the top, it says PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's not like beating around the bush or saying, oh, it's PlayStation exclusive. We'll talk more about this later on. It also does say coming 2021 at the bottom there, which we know now has been pushed to 2022. It's polyphony. No surprise there, really. But PlayStation 5 exclusive. This is how it's being advertised here. So there are some questions, obviously, people have for Sony right now, which is, why were you saying it was a PlayStation 5 exclusive if you had plans to also have it on the PS4? Because there are a few ways we can look at this. Either Sony had decided to delay the game so it could also be on the PS4, and they just thought of this recently after this trailer. They have decided instead to maybe put PS5 here because they want to keep people interested in the system going forward, and they didn't necessarily want to advertise that it's for the system they already have. Even if the game isn't out for, I don't know, like a year or two, there's still that thought process of, wow, the PS5 is hard to find. I want that new Gran Turismo when it eventually comes out. If the PS5 just pops up online and I happen to be there and I can grab it, I'll do that just so I have it for the future, just in case they're still hard to find when this game comes out. Which obviously isn't a great look for Sony when it comes to advertising PlayStation 5 exclusivity for Gran Turismo, because that would mean that they were misleading their audience that could even be viewed maybe as false advertising. I'm sure there's a lot of disclaimers in the trailers and different things that would get them off the hook, but it's not really a great look, especially with what we saw from, say, Microsoft, where they just came out and said it, hey, this stuff's going to be on all these different Xboxes, and Sony was basically saying, we believe in generations. So I am personally not that worked up about it also being a cross-gen title, that being things like Horizon Forbidden West, because we saw how good that game looked, and I have a lot of confidence in Sony Santa Monica with God of War Ragnarok. However, this Gran Turismo 7 situation is very off-putting, I would say. And you know what? I'm a little surprised Gran Turismo 7 is even getting that treatment, because Polyphony has a hard enough time just getting these Gran Turismo games out there on time, and now you're throwing another system into the mix, and will there be limitations placed on the game because of that system, since Polyphony likes to really push the envelope with some of these Gran Turismo releases? Will it still take advantage, say, of PlayStation VR 2, or will that be even held back by PlayStation VR 1 working on the PS4? Again, a lot of questions around Gran Turismo 7, I would say, more than anything, as it did get the PlayStation 5 exclusive treatment in some of their media and marketing. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below, because I've seen a lot of people concerned about the idea of these games being cross-generation, especially as it was kind of implied at times by Sony, or at least omitted from a lot of their advertising for things like God of War, that it would be just a PlayStation 5 title, not necessarily a PlayStation 4 cross-gen PlayStation 5 title. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.